So it's Saturday morning, December 26th, and I'm sitting, I think it's Saturday, and I'm sitting doing my wonderful, amazing Saturday morning ritual, which is I get up, I meditate and journal and, generally do my morning routine. Then I take the dogs for a walk. And then I go to the farmer's market and get my incredible full fat Greek yogurt from the well cared for cows here in Leesburg, Virginia, uh, and uh, and then spend some time doing some work. And I just love my Saturday mornings. And I was sitting at my kitchen table, staring out at my beautiful backyard, and it was the day after Christmas. So Christmas Day, my ex-wife Robin and my son, who is now living in Texas with his fiance, were at my house. John was visiting his family, but on Christmas Day they came out and spent time in front of the fire with me. We did the Jewish Christmas. We got Chinese food, and we watched Wonder Woman, which I will say is kind of mediocre as much as I loved the first one. And I really wanted to love this movie. It wasn't as great as I hoped it would be, but it was entertaining. And we had a great time. And I looked over at one point in the evening, and my ex and my son and his fiance and my two dogs were all cuddled up on the couch in front of the fire, in front of the TV, and I melted. It was such a beautiful thing, and I'm so grateful that I have that relationship. If you ever want to listen to the episode of Robin and I talking about our marriage and divorce, that's in the archives. It was very candid and very beautiful of her to share with us. But that was just such a beautiful evening. And what had happened also the night before was my beautiful new grandniece was born. Beautiful, healthy, beautiful, wonderful grandniece. And a few weeks before that, my beautiful new grandnephew was born. And I have to say, this is the closest I've come to being a grandparent, but now I understand. I told my niece and nephew that they no longer exist to me, and my new grandniece and nephews are everything. Like, I haven't met them because of COVID and all that, but I'm just like, the pictures just make me feel so happy. It's such a it's such a cool thing. If you guys have grandchildren or grandnieces and nephews, I guess you understand. I love my family so much, and I love my niece and nephew so much that their offspring is now everything to me. Um, but anyway, so I'm sitting there Saturday morning, and looking out the window, and it's a beautiful day, and the dogs are nice and calm, and the fire is going. And I was thinking about my grandniece and nephew, and I was thinking about last night with my ex and my kids, and I was just feeling so blessed, so blessed. I was just feeling just like, with everything that's gone on in my life, with everything I've done in my life, how could this moment possibly be any more perfect? How could my life be any more perfect? Now, remember, I have issues. I have challenges. We have financial things to deal with. We got health things to deal with. We got family. There's plenty to deal with. But at that moment, grace and blessing was a 6-lane superhighway, and I was just bathed in it. It was so exquisite. And I thought of how many times have has the world not looked the way I wanted it to look. My nephew and his wife, had challenges in getting pregnant and having children, and like there was angst all the way along the way to this blessing. In my life, I've had ups and downs. You guys know I've been homeless, I've been rich, I've been in love, I've been divorced, I've run the gamut. So, sitting there at the kitchen table with blessing and grace being a 6-lane superhighway, I thought about all the times when it didn't feel that way. And I was talking to my friend and mentor, Diana Bonici, and we're saying, whenever we're out of sorts, it's when we don't like the way the world is going. We're not in alignment with what is. Or Byron Katie, when you argue with reality, you only lose 100% of the time. So we're out of sorts. But at that moment, everything was the way I wanted it to be. So I felt like blessing and grace was a 6 lane superhighway. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also thought about all the times when I have spontaneously broken into blessing and joy. One of the benefits of a meditation practice, of self inquiry, of self forgiveness, of journaling, of all the things that I give to you guys in my free programs and talk about, or half the self help world will talk about, just freeing ourselves from the monkey mind. Um, I sometimes just break out into feeling blessed and joyful, coming out of the shower or just sitting at my desk. I'll just start crying out of just sheer joy. And then there's the times I need to work at it. Sometimes blessing and grace is a 6 lane superhighway, and sometimes it's a needle in a thread, the needle in a haystack. Sometimes it's a traffic jam, and I'm sitting in the traffic jam. And my job, if I want a better quality of life, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do anything, but my job is to find the blessing and the joy and the grace in whatever situation I'm in. I think I did a whole podcast on, I woke up, I don't wake up joyful and happy. Like I was telling the client yesterday, I'm kind of naturally a grumpy guy. I'm kind of naturally Eeyore. I see the negative and all that stuff. And then I choose something different. And I'm so practiced at it that, nobody would ever think of me this way. But I wake up kind of grumpy. And then I do my morning meditation. I do my journaling. I do my this. I exercise. And then by the time I'm out of the shower, I'm like, oh my God, I love everything. It doesn't matter if I'm in debt and I have a bill that I have to pay, or a tax thing, or something's not working in my business, or something's going on in my relationship that really sucks, or the political vitriol that's been going on, and all that stuff. That gets to me. I feel that stuff. And sometimes that traffic jam where that is hiding blessing and grace is something I need to look for. And it's all about perspective. The great Steve Chandler, I'm not sure where he got it from, but remember reading in one of his books is, where your attention goes, it grows. So it's all about where we're putting our attention. Am I putting my attention on what I don't have, or putting my attention on what I do have? Am I putting my attention on all the things I don't get from my relationship, or am I putting my attention, and deliberately? This is deliberate. This isn't like, this is a practice. This is lifting weights. You don't go from 15-pound dumbbells to 20-pound dumbbells to 100-pound dumbbells without doing the reps. So going from feeling miserable to feeling blessed and full of grace is a practice. It's a practice to take my attention from what's perceived to be negative, wrong with the world, and putting it on what's right. And the miraculous thing that happens is that where my attention goes grows. I get better at it, but also I start seeing the world differently. And when I start seeing the world differently, I put off a different vibe. Now, you can argue law of attraction, vibrations, woo woo, all that stuff. But it's true. You like to be around positive people. You like to be around people who are joyful. Just think Dolly Parton. Who doesn't love Dolly Parton? She just emanates love and light, and that vibe is infectious. And that's what we can do. So for me, I know I am the generator of the blessing and of grace. I'm the generator of my experience of the world. So sometimes blessing is a 6 lane superhighway, and all is right with the world, and my little grandniece and nephew are just everything. And sometimes I'm really worried about some bills, or I really can't stand what's going on in my relationship. And I need to take my attention. I need to grab my attention and force it over in another way, in another place, and get out of that traffic jam, or find the blessing inside the traffic jam. They say, if you're sitting in a traffic jam, great time to learn a language, or listen to some really great music, or make a phone call to someone you haven't spoken to in a long time. There's always ways to do that. But blessing and grace is available to us no matter what's going on the outside. It is an inside job. Thank you for listening to my insights and rambling. I love you guys a ton. I'm sending you tons of good vibes and all kinds of stuff. Uh, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for making this podcast and what it is. I love you. Have a great rest of the day.